I'm good, baby. I'm good, baby. I'm
Nick's
good, baby.
vibing
All right, Nick's
always.
good. All right, welcome back to the Independent Podcast, a podcast made by independent artists for independent artists. Today's episode is a little different. It's a little unique. We're going to be talking to somebody who's going to give us a perspective on the music industry that we
Bro,
really...
you take my intros. And
I'm
you
sorry.
just...
All right. Bree's going to do the intro. I'm not going to do it
Right.
justice, but she will.
Now that Connor's letting me speak, today's guest is unique because while he isn't a music artist himself, he is a major part of the music industry. He created one of the original music sharing channels on YouTube, which has accumulated over 1.3 million subscribers.
Damn.
If you've ever scrolled YouTube looking for new songs to listen to, you've most likely seen one of his videos. Please welcome the creator of Bangers Only, Nick Gorney.
What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys? That was an awesome intro. I was listening to some of your older episodes today, and they had such awesome intros. I was like, there's no way I'm stacking up to any of those.
You did it, man. You did it.
There's always pressure to do the person justice, and I'm like, I've got to hit it.
So we were just talking off podcast. So you have known Nick for a while now, is that right?
Yeah, I've been talking to Nick since, he started sending me music back in, I don't know the oldest one he sent me, but I can remember like Insecurities, and I think even going farther back than that. I remember the long hair and the mini jam sessions and all that. So.
Yeah, Insecurities was the first song I released after I decided to pursue music as a career. So that was like that was the song, and that was like that was literally my first song, like I said, since I decided to make that push for it. It was even different then. That's only 2019, like December 2019 or December 2018, January 2019. Man, because it was like, it was researching, like, I think blogs were still like okay at the time for trying to get on them, or and then like playlists and things like where users were creating playlists, and they had they could add your song. So I don't know, it was like a different time then. I haven't even tried to do that stuff in a long time. And then your buddy who has the bigger channel, what's his name? Sam or
From Promoting Sounds, yeah, Sam.
Promoting Sounds, yeah. So like you and Sam, I was in touch with a little bit. Sam was always more difficult to get in touch with.
How did you get in touch with them? Were you just sending emails?
I have no idea how I got in touch with Nick. Maybe an Instagram DM?
I think it was probably Instagram DMs. I can't keep up on my emails, and we probably get like across a couple emails. Like I probably get 200 or so a day. So I as much as I would love to keep up with them, I just get really far behind. So I do check Instagram frequently. DMs on there, and I think yours probably just caught my attention.
So you get over 200 song submissions per day. How do you decide what songs you're going to feature on the channel?
Good question.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a little bit of we try to do a variety of stuff. Obviously I started this channel with like the goal to help independent artists. That was where it really started, to just share music that I liked. And since then, we've worked in some like label deals with people as well, because we can monetize, some of the stuff that we post on these channels. So, it's a balance of sharing music you love, working with labels in certain situations, and just trying to figure out like a good curation of music that you think like the subscribers are going to like. But it's very hard because there's more than, if I post 1 or 2 videos a day on average, probably I get more than 1 or 2, very good songs sent to us, via submissions. So it's really hard to kind of pick like what's good to benefit the artists. And also it's a business too. So
I'm so curious what you said about labels. So how does that work? With as much detail as you can give, do they come to you and say, hey, we have an artist, we want to put their song on your channel, and we'll let you have a percentage of the revenue that the YouTube video makes?
Yeah, so it's not every label. And most labels at this point, there used to be like copyright strikes and everything. That kind of has gone away. Everybody seems to be like okay with YouTube channels posting and promoting music. So I think it's very valuable for the artists. And
I agree.
But not everybody offers those sort of deals. Like we have one with Warner, I think we're allowed to talk about it, where they give you like 60-day monetization on certain artists. So that's just straight up 2 months. You can monetize the song, the upload. And then after that, they claim it for, indefinitely beyond that. There's another one with Sony, certain artists with Sony, that's like a 50-50 split. So you can monetize that indefinitely 50-50, which is great. And then there's some other small ones, like it might be like a 30-day monetization or whatever, even like a 25%. But it all varies. And then there's some, labels who don't offer it at all. So it's really just a situational case-by-case thing.
And for independent artists who have like, what's it called? Like YouTube ID, where they like claim the video, that means that you can't make anything on it, right?
No, that all goes to, whoever they're with. So like a lot of we get hit with claims on like from people like Inner Street or
like Song Trust or something.
Yeah, like that, exactly. The only one I really know that doesn't auto claim is DistroKid. Yeah, Nick. Well, I don't know if you were saying like me, like DistroKid.
Okay, yeah,
DistroKid doesn't.
I don't claim you guys.
Yeah, no, I know. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, my friend.
Yeah, I've noticed that Bangers Only supports Nick a lot, which is great. So I was gonna ask did that develop because you feel like you guys have a relationship, or do you feel like maybe Nick's music, because he gets so many streams, helps your channel grow?
Yeah, it was, that definitely is part of it. Obviously, like I said, it's like balancing like the music, liking the music. And then also like, it's still a business. Like I'm still trying to do something for myself here, So it's like, I've posted some of his stuff even before before all that TikTok traction came in and everything. Like I know Mona Lisa's on the channel. I know Insecurities is on the channel. I believe there's a couple more on the channel. But then of course, he starts blowing up on TikTok and like people are searching his stuff. They're looking up the lyrics, they're looking up whatever. Yeah, it's great for me as well in that situation where I'm going to get extra traction to the channel, which is very important for me too.
So Nick, when you're
post lyric videos.
When you're doing the not doing the YouTube ID, are you not doing that for any of your songs, or are you whitelisting Bangers Only?
I want people to use my music, and I'm not that stingy to where like I care that much. I would rather barter the exposure.
So when you upload on DistroKid, you're opting out of the YouTube ID button. Like you don't do it at all.
No, I don't do it. Cool. I don't want people to run into headaches using my music.
Well, I also agree with Nick. It's like he could either make some money off the video, or a Bangers Only video could pop off, and then that just gets Nick extra streams.
Totally.
Yeah, that's been a big debate with artists too, like claiming and stuff. Because I've worked on with some artists on stuff, especially your music isn't like in the gaming community at all, but I worked with a couple who are in the gaming community, and they were, non-copyright songs to start. So people are using it in videos and they're using it in streams. There's hundreds of Fortnite videos a day that are coming out with a song in the background. Then they sign, song gets claimed, traction dies because nobody can utilize the songs anymore. You can't use it on YouTube. You can't use it on Twitch without running into headaches and things like that. And all these YouTubers want to make money on their videos, especially like gaming videos, like you don't want to pay, you're putting all your clips and time and whatever. You don't want to pay the artist. You want to find something that is copyright free that you can use. So that's been a problem I know with a lot of artists out there as they've grown.
Yeah. And I have a question. I don't know who wants to know, but I'm sure somebody does. How do you make your money? Like maybe someone's listening who's inspired by your channel and they want to make their own. What are your revenue streams?
Yeah, well, my biggest one is still just the Bangers Only YouTube channel. I mean, that's a big portion of it, but
ad or via submission costs.
Just ad revenue. We've actually gone away from charging for submissions as of the last, year or so, probably. Just focus more on, better music that we like and believe in more. A big part of that is also because we started a distribution platform in partnership with 1RPM, actually. So we've been working on like small percentages in that case. Also, we don't content ID claim anybody who comes through. So that's cool. To kind of help get your music out with YouTubers and stuff. But yeah, so I'd say the biggest revenue stream, it's YouTube. But we also do some other stuff. Like I said, we do the distribution platform. We used to do some playlist stuff, but have kind of got away from that. The whole Spotify playlist game has gone real sketchy. We do some like advertising to our playlists and stuff, but we mostly focus that on like distribution songs, people who are coming through us that we want to promote extra. And then we actually recently launched like a Genius site, basically. It's just called Lyrics Only, where we already work with lyrics so much, so we were like, might as well create a site. Hopefully we can get it to do well and stuff, but we get a lot of, like for you, for example, Nick, I know I got your Skin Like Summer lyrics, early. So, you send them to me early, like we can beat, like, as there's other people in our group, we can beat a lot of, Genius, whatever lyric site you're using to get those things up. And I think that could be very profitable for us in the future as well. But it's something that we already work so much with. We figured might as well see if we can expand that way as also, because the only really huge site out there is Genius. They run that whole thing.
So real quick, you mentioned that I think you just said Spotify playlists have gotten sketchy. What do you mean by that? Because Nick and Connor talk about playlists often.
Yeah, so I should have made that clear. Not editorial playlisting. You know, that's
Got it.
all. That's all good. Just the independent playlisting. I mean, like I know us personally, we run Facebook ads to all of our playlists and do stuff like that. Nothing crazy, but to make sure they get traction, and then hopefully they show up in the search and you get extra traction like that. But there's a lot of playlist curators out there that are just using, you know, bots. They're paying somebody, a marketing company, whatever they want to call it, but they're really just botting the streams. I mean, you might see 5 listeners and 200 streams in a day, and you're like, okay, that's obviously like that's not legitimate. You know, I think
Yeah.
it's gotten a lot worse since Spotify cracked down on it too. I feel like within the last year or so. It's just gotten really, it's just most of them are not legit. Like you can tell if you're looking up a playlist and there's no keywords that people are going to search. Let's say it's called like top pop or top hits or something. Like nobody's searching that in the Spotify search, you know, like nobody's looking that up. If it's getting a lot of streams with no like keywords that somebody like might search, like you might see a car playlist or like bass songs for your car, like sad rap, those could be legitimate because people might actually look up, or like chill playlists, things like that. But especially if something that has like no keywords is getting an absurd amount of streams, you can almost guarantee that something not right is going on with that playlist.
So would you advise independent artists to not pay for playlisting placements?
Yes, I would definitely advise to not pay for playlisting placements. I think you're better off looking elsewhere, like going the copyright free route and trying to reach out to YouTubers or something like that, submitting to channels, obviously getting your music in ahead of time and submitting for editorials, because that's very helpful. Obviously hard, especially as an independent artist, but there's a few good playlisters out there who do like actual good legitimate work, and the rest of them are not. So I would advise most artists to steer away from that route and look elsewhere for promotion.
And speaking of reaching out, what are the do's and don'ts of an artist who is like DMing you or emailing you who wants their song on your, because I'm sure you go through emails so much. What is the right thing to say? What is the wrong thing to say?
Oh man, this is hard because I feel like it's probably preference for certain people. But for me, if you're sending me like a 3-paragraph thing, I'm skimming most of the time. I want you to be like, hey, you know, I'm Connor. This is my new song. Like it kind of matches the vibe of some of the stuff that you may have posted on here. If you have a few minutes, like, you know, check it out, you know, let me know what you think or something. And if it is copyright free, like of course include that. That obviously helps YouTubers out there. We don't want to post the video and see claims afterwards. Sometimes we'll post anyways, but other times we'll be like, you know, I have other options that I could post and possibly monetize. I don't love getting like full press kits with like multiple paragraphs though. It's just like overwhelming sometimes when you're trying to just find music and like kind of listen through. It's almost like a playlist. You're like scrolling, skimming through and just trying to listen to a bunch of songs and see, you know, if anything really sticks with you.
Yeah. And I'm sure on the opposite end, it also isn't good if it's just too quick. Like, yo, here's my track, put it on. Like, that's not going to work either.
Yeah, you get that sometimes. Like, post this on the channel with a link. It's like, yeah, sure, it's not gonna. So there's a balance for sure. It's tough though. I mean, I personally prefer it, you know, to be short and sweet. You know, hey, this might fit something that you've done before. Hope you like it. But then, you know, obviously some other people might, you know, like more detail or like a backstory behind it. I think it's kind of just preference, you know.
Yeah. What year did you launch this channel?
I launched it in 2016, December of 2016, with no intention of, you know, ever making money or anything on it. Just started it for fun, just a way to share music. You know, when I was with my friends, they'd always like hand me the aux cord or whatever, you know, or have me be on me the one playing music. So I started it. I was familiar with like the YouTube space because in high school I used to like stream video games and stuff. So I was very familiar with how all the YouTube thing worked, and I just started sharing it for fun. But yeah, end of 2016.
The reason I asked that is from 2016 to 2022, have you seen any changes of trends of people listening to music on YouTube? Has it gone down? Has it gone up? Has it stayed the same?
You know, it's been fairly consistent. I remember when COVID first hit, though, it went way up. Like March of 2020, I just remember streams and everything were really, or views were everything were up for me like every day. I remember thinking like Monday hit or whatever, and nobody was going to school or work or whatever it was, and it was like a weekend stats, because weekend stats are usually a little bit higher, at least Saturdays are, and it was just like consistent all the way through because I think everybody was home. And just kind of, you know, taking in content or listening to music or whatever it was. But other than that, it's been fairly consistent. I've personally tried to base a lot more of my posts on stuff that I find on TikTok now, because I think TikTok is just an incredible platform, and it's the way to get your song out to the most possible people the quickest, for sure.
Love
There's
it.
so many artists, it's just life changing on there. You know, you see artists who've never released a song before. They release one song that blows up on TikTok and it's like 50 million streams or something. It's just insane, you know? So we've kind of gone towards that route of, you know, doing a lot more scouting on TikTok and stuff. But as far as like streaming music on YouTube goes, I'd say it's been fairly consistent.
Yeah, YouTube has always been so amazing to me because you look at other platforms like whether it's Instagram or Facebook or, I mean, TikTok is in its prime right now. They all have a moment and go away or have a moment and go away. YouTube has stayed consistent. People watch YouTube from 2006 to now, and it's amazing. It's like, do you see that going away? And also, like, why is that?
I don't know. I think YouTube just like, there's nothing that really rivals that in terms of, you know, video sharing. I mean, I can't even think of or else would I watch? I don't know, like Facebook video or like Vimeo or something, you know, like there's just nobody even tries to really compete with YouTube. And I know like all the other social medias go in and go out. Like I don't really use Twitter anymore. I don't really even like to use Instagram anymore. Personally, I feel like it's kind of gotten away from what I liked on it, which was just like photo sharing. I feel like they've gone to just a whole different route kind of. I love TikTok now, but yeah, YouTube is just, they're just consistent. They know what they're doing. You know, it's just video content. You know, you go there to follow people that you enjoy or listen to music or whatever it is, but you know what you're getting when you go onto YouTube. It's been the same platform for 15, 20 years or whatever.
Nick D, when your songs were being put on Bangers Only and other YouTube channels for that matter, did you find it was having an impact? Like, were you getting more people DMing you like, yo, just discovered you from Bangers Only, stuff like that?
So I would say when Mona Lisa went up over there, I think that was the most like, because that was still fairly early. And now it's like there's so many comments and DMs and things to where I don't, there might be a handful that say, hey, found you on, you know, saw you posted on Bangers Only. I haven't seen it in a long time. And I also don't get to all my DMs like I used to.
Sure.
But I would say yes, early on when I specifically remember Mona Lisa being posted and there being traction, and not just traction, but people would actually, I think Mona Lisa got posted on Promoting Sounds too.
Yeah, may have.
I think it did. And I think that little combo was well, actually, dang, one of them went on Promoting Sounds and like artists were hitting me up. They're like, yo, how'd you get him to post you or something? I'm like,
he can be hard to reach. I've heard that before. He can be tough to reach sometimes. So it makes sense.
But in general, there was artists and like new people saying how they had come across my song on Bangers Only or Promoting Sound. Yeah, but as far as directly to streaming, I'm not 100% sure. I don't. You know what I see often? Like big YouTube artists, like let's say Token or Tom McDonald or I don't know, like artists that post on YouTube religiously. Their streaming numbers don't reflect their YouTube numbers.
Interesting.
Do you see that? Like you'll see like Token drop a music video and like Token's fire, you know, but for some reason he'll have more views sometimes on his music video than he will on streaming platforms.
Do you think it's because I think maybe it's because of the demographic? Are they hitting a demographic that maybe doesn't use Spotify religiously?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting to see which songs blow up on YouTube and stuff because it can be very different. Like we'll have random songs that don't have any Spotify traction or anything, just like hit the YouTube algorithm and just like kind of fly. But then you see stuff like that where you have, you know, artists who have these huge followings on YouTube and they're just not really pulling the Spotify numbers. And I don't really understand why. Maybe it's a convenience thing. You've grown to like follow this person on their YouTube channel and stay up to date that way. It's kind of just where you listen to them. You know, you go back to that video if you want to hear it. You know, we get a lot of our views from YouTube playlists actually, which is just people adding them to their personal playlists on there. And instead of listening through Spotify, you know, you're just throwing on whatever playlist you've created on YouTube. I've personally never done it. And then just listening through that way, which is actually one of the more surprising things when I look at my analytics is like 20% of our views, which is like 700,000 a day or 800,000 a day, just come from people listening through their own personal YouTube playlists.
Wow.
What percentage would you say are monetized of your views?
Well, it's not 25%, 30% maybe. You know, and then the worst ones are the ones that, which is expected, but the ones that like really pop off, you know, it's an unsigned artist or something, blow up, and then they sign and then it gets claimed. You're like, oh man, that was a good 2 months or whatever. That happens pretty frequently, but I'd say about 25% are probably monetizable for us.
Gotcha.
And speaking of back-end analytics, what's your average demographic that's watching these videos?
Yeah, average demographic is anywhere from like 15 to 25 years old, pretty much all over the world, really. I mean, we get listeners in like the 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, who knows? But it's really worldwide. I can go to the analytics of my channel and check sometime. But like last time I checked, it was like 40% United States or something, and then like 20 or like 10% Canada or 10% United Kingdom, and then just like smaller percentages going down from there, you know. But
Yeah.
so the average like age range is like 15 to 25.
Does it skew male? Because I know YouTube is predominantly more male used.
Surprisingly, it's pretty even, actually. I think it might be like 55% male,
great.
45% female or something. Yeah. Yeah, so pretty balanced, actually, which did surprise me. I remember the one time I checked it, I was expecting like 70-30 or something like that.
Yeah.
So you started this YouTube channel like 6 years ago. Do you think someone who wants to make a music sharing channel today could do it and it could be successful? Or do you think that time has passed for launching a successful channel like this?
I think that it's definitely doable. There's a lot of people who have messaged me and been like, hey, I started this channel because, you know, I used to listen to Bangers Only, which is super cool because one of the reasons I started my channel was because I used to listen to the Promoting Sounds uploads and like the Swaggy Tracks uploads, you know, back in the day. So it was one of the reasons I wanted to start, but I think it's still possible, but it's definitely a little oversaturated. I started posting lyric videos like 4 years ago or something to kind of stand out from the rest because nobody was really taking time to post the lyric videos. Like I saw that I could start making money on it and was like, okay, well, how can I, you know, take it up a notch from these other channels or something? You know, I was competing with people like Promoting Sounds who post audios, and he always has. I was like, how can I get some views, you know, on like below him, but still get some of my own? I was starting with lyric videos, but now everybody does it. I mean, a lot of these labels even are doing, instead of music video releases, they're going towards lyric video releases. Like
it's a lot cheaper.
It's interesting. Yeah, it is a lot cheaper for sure. You pay somebody to edit a 2.5 minute video or whatever. It's a lot cheaper, and people really like just to listen to lyrics. I think if you're going to do a music video, you really have to like do it right, or else it doesn't make that much of a difference. But I definitely think there's still a place for people, but you got to be consistently looking for really good music that people might not have on their radar that might do well. It's definitely become a lot more watered down, like oversaturated.
Yeah, I tend to not focus on music videos unless I have a really good idea that I want to do, or if it really calls for one. Like if the song earned it, you know, or if I just, you know, or if I feel like it one day, then that's different. But I don't see people like going and finding you through a music video, you know, like I think music videos, like albums, they're good for connecting deeper with the people who already care, but they're not good for really gaining new listeners. And one thing I did on my last music video with Suit was I put the lyrics throughout the whole video.
Yeah, so it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you get them both. Was that the one that you shot at the pool party, or not the pool party, but when it was like a birthday party?
That was Pretty Faces. I shot that in Vegas with Connor and Bree. Bree did a lot of the prep work for that, probably all of it, because I'm over in Virginia.
It was basically just planning a children's party, and then Nick D just shows up and we press record.
That's true.
So I was watching that one because I was listening to your Friday podcast, actually, and you guys were talking about it. You had the guy on it. You said you want to come out and shoot the video with us. So then I had to check out the music video.
Bondo.
Yeah, no, that was fun. That was fun. I like that one. I forgot which song it was though, because I've been listening to a lot of your music. But yeah, that was a good one. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I just thought of: you must get people offering you money to pay for the channel. Does that happen often?
Yeah,
wow.
We've gotten some offers for the channel. Not something that interests me personally because it's my full, you know, it's my life now. Like if I were to get rid of that, I don't really know what I would do now. You know, the whole music scene between the channel and the distribution stuff we're doing is kind of taking over. But yeah, we've gotten some surprisingly big offers for the channel, which I wasn't expecting. Well, I guess up until about a year ago, I wasn't expecting it. Once we passed 1 million, it kind of felt like we hit like a threshold where people are like, that's it would be worth investing in, you know?
Yeah. And then, so you also do something else with Bangers Only where you do like co-releases or you do, You put budget behind releases sometimes, right? To kind of,
Yep.
if you want to
Yeah.
talk about that stuff.
Yeah, I actually don't know how I left that out because that is also a part of where our revenue comes from. We that was something that Promoting Sound started also, or at least as far as I know started. I hadn't really followed, like brands that partner up with artists in that situation. He has like a lot of playlist power, so that's kind of how he does it. We went a different route where we started partnering up with artists on percentage splits and releasing songs under Bangers Only as well with the artist, a co-release, and we would budget X amount for cut in for this percentage. And we've had a lot of success on there. We've probably got, I believe it's 80, 90 million streams on Spotify over like 20, 21 releases. So an average of, a very high average. And that's not even counting the first song we ever worked on was with another guy from Erie, PA. His artist name's Rosie. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He did Ooh La La.
Did he do the song with, dang, I'm blanking on his name. Oh, the dead. What's his name, man?
I know his catalog pretty well, so I'm not sure.
I've talked to him a couple times. No, I'm talking about Rose Boy. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Rose Boy. No, yeah, no, this is Rozei. I thought it was Rose for the longest time, but it's Rosie. We worked with him on his like one of his earlier releases called Ooh La La, and it blew up in like the gaming community. This is actually one of the examples of the blowing up in the gaming community, then signing to a record label, and then it kind of slowing down a bit. Because they're claiming it now and people can't use it on stuff like that. But yeah, that one was it's like our first release ever, and it got in the first like 2 weeks. By like the end of the first 2 weeks, like it did 120K in a day. I was like, oh my God, like what? Didn't even know what we were doing. We paid like 2 Fortnite YouTubers to post it, and it cost like $800 and it just went crazy. There's like 10, 20 videos an hour coming out with the song. It was wild. I was like, this co-release stuff's easy. But then we did a whole album. That was a 13 song like collaborative project, which was probably the most like in-depth thing we've ever worked on. It was just, I think it was 20 artists, 19 artists, 13 songs that we just really, loved, artists that we really loved working with, and just released it Bangers Only Volume 1. It's got 40 million streams or 35 million streams. That was September of 2020. Want to do it again. Want to pitch some people on the whole independent artist game. I know I've mentioned it to you, Nick. I don't know how I can make that happen, but I'm really, I'm trying to. I've been talking about this. I want to make it like a yearly or I don't know, every 18 months or something, and just have it like where we get a bunch of big independent artists into it. We put like a huge budget behind it, and I was talking to my brother about it because he works with me also. And I was like, I want it to be, remember like Kids Bop, like everybody knew Kids Bop every year, or like it came out. Like I want it like a Bangers Only albums coming out yearly. And, I'm not buying the CD for it, but I'm going to check it out. And like, I'm going to find a bunch of new artists that I've never heard about before. And,
dude, it's so funny you say that, because Brianna and I have talked about the idea of putting out an album under the artist name Independent and having just be independent artists. So that's cool that
awesome.
You've had a similar idea.
Yeah. I mean, we had a lot of fun with the first one. Since then, a couple of the artists have signed. Like PM Beta Parker was on it. I'm sure you guys have at least seen his stuff on TikTok. He was on it. A couple of the other artists have signed also. But yeah, we would love to do something like that again. I just want to make sure that when we do it, because like 35 or 40 million was awesome. Like it did great. It helped a lot of artists at the time. Like the one kid's song, Luke, was, I think his most streamed song was like 15K, and now Lonely Again has like 9 million or something. So, it helped them a ton. But yeah, I want to make sure if we do it again, we're going to at least quadruple the size of the first one or more. I want to make sure it goes like mainstream. So we got to work on that.
One thing you mentioned earlier, I think you had said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Nick D's songs don't necessarily match up with the gaming community, right? What makes a song or a type of song like pop off in the gaming world?
Yeah, I don't know. That's some of your music. I mean, I think it's kind of a stretch. I think you can stretch the music that you put on that stuff. It also depends on like the game. But for some reason in my head, I was just thinking of kids cranking in Fortnite, just like super like trap beat,
Sure.
But
that energy,
there's a lot of different, like in the gaming scene, there's a lot of different, types of stuff. So I think that tends to lean more towards, like the upbeat songs, the songs with like the heavy bass in them too, I don't know, that are just easy to edit to almost.
Right, like the montage sequence type songs. I get you.
Yeah. Like on the drop or whatever, like it hits the clip or whatever. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of where it tends to lean, but I don't think it really is super limiting. I mean, it's probably not going to post some like jazz song or something. But you know what I mean? Like I think it can be a wider range than what I was kind of making it out to be, because I think some of your songs could definitely work on there, Nick. And Connor, your music I think also would definitely fit in some of those. I don't know if you've ever reached out to people like that, but a lot of those guys are just like looking for copyright free music, you know. And I don't know, do you use DistroKid?
We do, yeah. Nick does. I do, yeah.
Yeah, I knew Nick does. I should have known you. I just posted Splat the other day, actually.
Oh, that's right. I think I commented. Yeah, I try to.
Well, yeah, Brandon, who runs Sauce, usually posts your stuff, and we try to like balance who we're posting, you know, because it's there's only so many independent artists out there who you know you're able to post who could do solid numbers and who we like. So Brandon at Sauce only usually posts most of your stuff, but I was like, I'm throwing this one up there. I really like this song.
Wow. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of Sauce. Then I didn't know you posted. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I love the song. It was awesome. I was excited to see you guys do the collab song together because I had seen your name and I'd seen it on TikTok, Connor, but then like, you know how you need something to kind of run through your head like a few times to like really drill it in, like you got to listen to this person. Well, then when you guys collabed, I was like, oh shit, you know, I've seen Connor's name. I got to go through some of his catalog and listen through.
Awesome.
But yeah, that was kind of like what put it over the top for me. I was like, oh, I gotta support this.
They actually have another collab dropping in 2 days, or technically tomorrow night. Yeah.
Oh shit, really?
We're excited about this one. This one goes crazy. It's fun.
Yeah, the hook is literally Nick's mouth doing a trumpet sound.
Oh, your mouth trumpet goes crazy, Nick.
That's amazing. I'm gonna have to pressure Nick into sending it to me early, like I always do.
I'm really bad about it.
I approve. Do it.
It's always such a pain to get him to get the lyrics.
What did Nick just say? He said,
I'll write
really
them out.
bad
You just
about
correct them.
But I think it looks like he was going to his Dropbox, so hopefully he does.
I was looking to send it over, but
no password.
but I forgot the password again.
Oh, good. I got it right here.
No, we got to get that to you. I'm excited about that one. And we've already made TikTok content for it. Like when he visited last time, we made a few skits. Man,
awesome.
I can't wait to post his content. So
Oh, dude, it's a banger. It's a banger for sure.
It's a fun one. A good energy, yeah.
I was like, only Nick could make a hook with 0 lyrics, and it's like stuck in my head all day.
It's so good.
I'm excited to listen to it. Your guys' TikTok content's been crazy good though.
Thank you.
It's like levels up from like most of the people that you see on that platform, which is awesome.
I've learned everything from Nick, so thank you, Nick.
He's been ahead of the game. I know, my one buddy, Nate Good, I know also, like, has been kind of, you know, modeling some of his TikTok content after Nick's stuff. And obviously you guys had Tom Holland together, which is an awesome song.
I like that song.
Love that song. I still listen to that song at the gym every time I throw that thing on to start it off.
Great song.
That's one of those songs in my catalog that I really like and it's slept on, but I haven't found the right way to promote it yet.
Which one is that?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Oh, sorry, you're still talking about Tom Holland. Yeah. I mean, that song's still, it's over 2 million streams, right? Like that one does consistent streams every day.
It's doing just fine. I mean, in my opinion, it's one of those songs where it needs that outside of the creator, the guy that created it, content, you know, like it needs to blow up with other influencers using it. And
it's one of those songs I feel like could be in a gaming video, to be honest. I mean, it's changed a lot, but I feel like, you throw that one behind it, they definitely rock with something like that. But no, I get what you guys had some fun back and forth TikToks though, you and Nate on those Tom Holland content.
They weren't connecting all that well as far as I go, but I really like that song. It's a good song because I've been doing a lot of love songs, and then that was an opportunity for me to like go back to a little bit of more like hip hop lyrics.
Totally.
Your 360 content was slept on, in my opinion.
Oh man, dude, that was such a bummer.
He was like sending us the drafts, and we were freaking out. Like these are gonna go crazy, and we couldn't figure it out. It's like, why is this not connecting? It's like we couldn't figure it out because that content is amazing. The song is incredible. Minefield is nasty. That song goes nuts.
Minefield might be my favorite from you, honestly. That's such a good song.
Same.
But yeah, I saw that. I remember commenting early on one of those TikToks, like the first one you posted. So this is gonna go crazy. You know, this is gonna be in like the high millions or whatever. Yeah. The what is your most viewed one? The one that you were just in public singing? Oh my god,
Icy Pop.
Icy Pop. Yeah, Icy Pop. Yeah, that was such a good. That was a fun series.
Views,
yeah. I'm always on the side of leave them wanting a little more than leave them being annoyed that you kept posting.
Yeah. Yeah, riding that line is tough sometimes, especially when something's going so viral, because it's so easy to just do another type of one, those videos, and it's an automatic multi-million.
Yeah, too bad people get annoyed after 2 videos.
I
They'll
know.
be like,
Stop
bro, make
promoting
a
the
new
same
song.
It's like, geez,
I'm
man.
like, dude, it's been like 4 videos.
And I get that all the time. It's so annoying.
At least the songs you guys promote are out, though. Man, there's some people who just drag it on
Talk about
TikTok.
it.
Like,
Nick
you
and I
know,
talk about that.
50,000
What are your thoughts on
pre-saves.
that, Nick? Are you pro releasing a song before promoting it, or are you pro pre-save campaign?
I like the strategy that you guys have of waiting. I think that in certain situations it can be beneficial. I don't know. I've seen some people execute it well where they don't drag it on, but I've also seen some really bad, like you wait months because you're trying to hit a pre-save goal or something and everybody's just sick of it. Your audience isn't active anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
That happens.
I don't know. I like your guys' strategy. That's probably where I would lean. But then I've seen some people that maybe they just have like crazy clout or something, and every video they post is like 5 million, and they're up like 100,000 pre-saves real quick, and they're on the top of New Music Friday. That might be like label connections. I don't really know. But no, I definitely think that having people wait for a long period of time is not the way to go about it. I believe in the strategy that you guys have, and I'd love to see like the Spotify for Artists, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it. When you promote a song like that and a video takes off, it's already out, like how big the number, the jumps are.
Yeah.
Tell you right now, Splat did. Tell him
Yeah,
what-
Splat. My Splat skit is at like what 6.5 million views.
Yeah, and I called Nick and I'm like, isn't that crazy? And he's like,
the
imagine
way,
if the
this
song
thing's
wasn't
pretty-
out.
Right. And yeah, so that day it popped off. Splat did the first day it did 16,000 streams. I posted the skit. The next day it did 103,000 streams. Just
That's crazy.
Because that skit, insane.
That's wild. Yeah, that those are some huge numbers. How well was that stick? Like how? I mean, obviously there's a huge spike when it's in the algorithm like that. Where does you said it went up to about 130K streams a day, I believe.
It was 103.
103. Okay. Where does it level off on that? Is that something where you have to keep feeding the fire with content, or is it kind of, you get something like that to go and Spotify really helps push it or whatever?
I actually think Nick would have a great answer for this, because it's hard for me to kind of say at this point. Like Splat did like 103 and then 92 and then 88 and then back to 92. So it's kind of sitting there, and I don't know when it's going to fall and how far. So Nick, when Pineapple went crazy, or if Serotonin or Icy Pop, and it had its huge moment, which I'm sure was like, wasn't Pineapple doing like 300,000 streams a day?
I'll pull up Icy Pop because
Perfect.
Dude, I love when Nick pulls up his data.
He's got the receipts, man.
Was Icy Pop your highest peak, or was Pineapple still clear?
Icy Pop.
Wow.
Icy Pop. Oh, I would have guessed Pineapple for sure.
Actually, me too.
No, I
Icy
would have
Pop.
guessed Icy Pop.
Really?
Oh my
Icy
God, his
Pop
Icy
bigger
Pop
than-
content. Whew.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Icy Pop, yeah, bigger than Pineapple, and it's still outstreaming Pineapple.
Amazing.
Oh wow.
But okay, so I released that song September 3rd. That was the first song I released since really Pineapple had its viral kind of moment. And then you get your initial drop day, which is at the time was about 30K for me. And then I had a couple videos do okay. People were excited that I released something, I think, since Pineapple, so it goes up to 60K. And then it does like 50s, 40s, 30s, and it hovered in the like 20s, 30s for a long time. And then I decided to post that video. There was a video that I had sitting. I was on New Year's Eve in DC with my family. I was like, I can't film anything. I don't have anything to post. So I go back into my drafts and I have this video of me in front of that mountain landscape, which I posted. It was like January. I was like, whatever. So I'll post it. And that video goes on to do like 7 million views. But the day that it took a little while for it to pick up to 7 million, but it did like 1 million pretty quickly. And so the next day I go from 20 to 43, then to 53, then to 69, then to 76. So like that's like a steady little increase going up. And then the weekend comes in, and the weekends are really bad for Spotify. So it goes down to 50. And then the next day, 82, 85, 95, 90, 95, right? And then this is when I get a big moment, okay? This is when every time I post Icy Pop, it gets over 1 million views. So I go from 80 to 90 to 119 to 137 to 250
Oof.
to 326.
Oh my, I had no idea it was streaming that much.
To 309 to 358.
Wow.
So I had about so February 1st, to February 10th. Okay, February 11th. So 10 days consecutively over 300,000 streams for Icy Pop.
Wow.
So that was like my big, really kind of a big moment. And to this day, it's doing like just over 100K a day.
Still?
I was gonna ask, what's it doing now? Because you haven't posted it in a while. It's been a long time, at least that I've seen. That's incredible that even without posting in that long, it still pulls that many streams. That's crazy.
I thought it would have dropped more. It's still doing 100,000 a day, and you haven't posted about it. That's crazy. That's cool.
And isn't February like? I think he did like 28 million streams in February, something crazy like that.
And the song is in February I did 25 million streams in February.
Oof.
Insane.
But so Icy Pop is still in 186,000 user playlists.
That's
so
wild.
That's what happens when you have a natural, like a real organic moment. You get people who actually care, right?
Yeah.
And they add it in their own personal playlists. And at one time, it was in over 240 or 250,000 playlists. And it's so it's still in 186,000 user plays. That's amazing.
I actually have one more question about this whole TikTok thing, if you don't mind. I was curious if you guys have ever had like a sound of your song take off, and like what's the difference between like an individual piece of content, like the splat skit that you posted doing 7 million views, or let's say 10,000 people using your sound. Like what helps more? Have you ever had? I'm not sure if Pineapple did. That might have been the closest to that I know of Nick's music that really had a lot of people using it.
Yeah, it only had like 11,000 videos made to it, and compared to like a real viral sound where it's got hundreds of thousands.
I've never had a viral sound moment, just like original content that pops off.
We've tried, but nothing has stuck. But you never know. Probably the one you least expect is gonna just probably pop off at some point.
Yeah, I feel like the more you try to make a trend with your sound, it doesn't work. But then just organically, someone might use a piece of the song for a trend. That's always how it happens organically. So hopefully one day that happens. That'd be cool.
So the biggest day for Pineapple was 381,000 streams, but it only did that. It went from 230 to 381 to 343, and then down back to 200.
So Icy Pop went up and stayed up.
Yeah. And like Pineapple now is doing between 50, just like mid 50s a day.
Still great.
Yeah, no, it's still doing just fine, but Icy Pop
interesting. That's crazy. It's interesting about forcing like the trend though of like trying to do something like that. I mean, we've with a couple of our our co-releases, we tried paying like some influencers to do something with it, and they came up with decent content ideas, but nothing has ever stuck. I mean, we haven't put a lot of money into it, but a few $1,000s here and there, and no success ever. The most success we've ever had, or I've ever seen at least, is just all natural stuff.
Right. Like I remember a sound from the Backyardigans, a children's preschool show, was a trending sound, like Into the Thick of It. And I'm like, who would have ever guessed? Like they weren't trying.
I remember that one. That was the worst.
Yeah.
You also said earlier you had success having Twitch streamers use a song in their live stream.
Yeah. You just, a lot of those guys, especially the guys who are just, playing games, they're just looking for songs that aren't gonna, get claimed later on the past broadcasts or run into like strike issue. Cause that was happening too. People were just like archiving their streams, and then labels were like striking them down because they had music in them. And that was a big thing for a while. So these guys, you just shoot some messages to some of them who were like, hey, if you like the song, I can guarantee you, we released it under Bangers Only. Like you're never going to run into any, copyright issues. We'll make sure of that. So like ongoing, you can use this as long as you want, no copyright issues, and they'll love that. They'll play it on stream. They probably have a couple hours worth of music in their playlist, so they stream for however many hours. People hear it a few times, add it to their playlist, and the gamers love supporting the gamers also. So like you get a couple of the big ones using something, and like all the other ones, like, oh shoot, I'm gonna make my montage video have this in the background or whatever. I'm gonna listen to the same exact playlist this guy listens to, and it can really get out there quick. And then not to mention, they just listen to some, like a lot of the songs just on repeat almost, not on repeat, but your like listener to stream rate is crazy too.
Well, that's a cool free marketing tool. If you're an independent artist, submit to Twitch streamers. Let them know you own your music and they won't get striked.
Yeah, I've noticed a big increase in streams for me when this YouTube channel called the Sea Boys. They're sort of like a Nelk type thing, but not as R-rated. They're a bit more family friendly. But they started just randomly using my songs in their vlogs. And all of a sudden, all my YouTube comments were like, I'm here from the C-Boys. I'm here from the C-Boys. I'm like, what is the C-Boys? And they have like however many million subscribers, and they started using my songs. So that's a great piece of advice, is find out the email address of the editors even. If you can find out who edits these channels, find them on Instagram, be like, hey, I've got, you know, royalty-free music. Here it is. Feel free to use it, blah, blah, blah. It's a great way to get yourself out there.
Oh yeah, especially if you're somebody who like plans to, I mean, you guys like love the independent ground, like you really believe in it. You know, it's somebody who's going to stay independent. They appreciate that because they know that, you know, if something happens or the song goes up, like nobody's going to be claiming your music, at least not in the foreseeable future. You know, it's not something they're going to run into like, oh, that song signed a week after I used it. And, you know, bang, it's getting, you know, claimed by labels right away. Like you guys, people like you guys, people would really appreciate like using your music because they know they're going to be allowed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, this has been a sick conversation.
Yeah,
like so much insight.
For real.
Nick, do you have any other questions for Nick?
Nope. I'm good.
What's next for you, Nick? What's next for the channel?
Oh, for the channel, it's pretty much semi-consistent with what I've been doing. I'd say, like, you know, we're just trying to post, you know, a video or two a day with new artists that we find, work with new artists, make new artist connections, like friends like you guys, you know.
Cool.
And just, you know, keep looking for new people on TikTok or wherever we're looking. You know, I listen to a ton of music a day. But I'd say, like, what we're really focusing on right now is growing our distribution catalog, because we got some big plans with that. So, you know, we're trying to figure out new ways that we can help the artists who do go through us, besides just like posting them on the channel and a couple playlists that we run, trying to figure out new ways, like marketing wise, that we can help them, you know. And we are going to keep pushing on like the lyric site that we just created. That's only 2 months old. So that's still like, we're working on that. But awesome. Yeah, we got enough to work on right now as a 4-person company to keep us busy. So I'd say for now, it's pretty consistent with what we're doing. I love the idea of doing another collaborative album at some point. And then beyond that, it's pretty much up in the air. I never would have thought it would be where it is now. So I'm kind of just going to keep pushing, you know?
Well, congrats, man. And thank you for any time you've posted any of my music or Nick's music. It really means a lot.
Appreciate it, guys. Absolutely. It was honestly a lot of fun today. I figured it like, you know, different perspective than a lot of people you have on here. So I thought it would be cool, but
it's amazing. Yeah, I think you're our first like non-artist or producer guest. Yeah. And man,
it's been super insightful.
I love this conversation. There's a lot of great like little snippets we'll have too for like TikTok. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I was going through those really quick though, and I was like, oh man, these intros are all so good. Like it was the DJ who DJs for the Raptors. He's up, like in the Olympics.
Legend.
In the Olympics, I'm like, oh man, I don't have any Olympic background. I got none of that. But
no, it's not about that, man. It's your experience. It's the value you bring. This is like a part of music that everyone knows and sees because they see people posting stuff on YouTube, and to talk to somebody who created that from scratch.
I mean, I learned something new.
I
didn't think of submitting to Twitch streamers, so that's super smart.
Yeah. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you again, man, and we appreciate your time.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Take it easy. Thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Peace.
All right, brother.
Now I'm still dancing with 2 left feet, yeah. But with a little help, I can move on beat. Now I can moonwalk in 2 socks and groove all week.